Here are the two main types of glue we use in the art room. And here is my kitty. When you're using glue, it's important to put a messy mat down on the table because we don't want to get glue on the table. When you open the glue stick, you'll need to twist the bottom to have the glue come up a little bit. Not lots, because if you push it up lots, then try to glue, this glue could break off. When you finish using the glue, twist it all the way down and then put the lid on. If you put the lid on when the glue is up, then you're going to squish all the glue and waste it for the next person. Make it click, that way it will stay nice and wet. If you're creating a collage and you're going to be gluing paper to paper, you should use a glue stick and not wet glue. Wet glue will make your paper buckle, so don't use that. Always use a glue stick to attach paper to paper. When you make a collage, it's important to put the parts down first and experiment with where you want them. There are lots of different ways to put your collage together. When you're happy with your design, you can start to glue. You do not need to glue everything. You only need to glue the edges. Don't worry if your glue goes off the paper and onto the messy mat, because that's what the messy mat is there for. So you don't need to glue the middle. This type of glue, this purple glue, is purple when it is wet, and then when it dries it's clear. So we can see that this glue is still wet. The reason that you want to put glue around the edges is so that the edges don't flap up. You can pat it down and make sure that it's all nice and smooth and no flappy edges. It's all very flat. If you're going to include pieces that are heavier than paper in your collage, you would need to use wet glue. When the wet glue is closed, you can tell because the white tip is sticking up. So to open it, you have to twist the orange. And then when the white tip is down, you can't see it. That means that it's ready to go. And you can turn it over and just wait for a couple of seconds for the glue to drop. And the rule of thumb with the wet glue is dot, dot, not a lot. Dot, dot, not a lot. You'll need to press down on your materials to make sure that they stick, just for a few seconds. And once they start to stick, they will do that all by themselves. Just give them a head start by pressing down. Sometimes you will need to make a line if you're going to include yarn or string of any kind. Don't do dot dot not a lot. Instead, practice making a thin line. Just a thin line. And then lay your string or yarn down on top of the glue. Oh, this one's got a tail. I need to go a little bit longer. I was just squeezing it gently. Again, you can pat it down. You're going to get sticky fingers when you use wet glue. You do not need to wash your hands in the sink. Just rub your fingers together like this. And all the glue will come off. It's important to close it so that you can see the white tip. That way it will stay wet for the next person. When you've made a collage that's wet because you've used wet glue, it's a good idea to leave it to dry in the art studio. But if you really want to take it with you today, then put it in your hands like this and carry it flat like a pizza. Some collage materials are too heavy for paper. The things I've used here are quite light, so they can go onto card like this. But if we're going to use a material like beans, they would be too heavy for regular cardstock. So instead we would use a piece of cardboard. So you would cut your piece of cardboard to the size that you would like, and then you can use a pencil to draw your design. I'm going to keep it simple and do a spiral. What kind of glue do you think I should use? If you guessed wet glue, you would be correct. Open, dot, This will take at least an hour to dry.